everybody, Coach Dacia here, bringing you this week's hot topic. And one of the questions that I get so much has to do with what equipment do I actually need? So this is assuming you're going to be working out at home as opposed to going to a gym or somewhere where there's a plethora of equipment, right? I truly believe there's only like 3 or 4 pieces that you really need at home to get a good workout in. So here's the deal. Throughout this video, you're going to see me in my home garage where we actually have a nice little gym set up. Not everything you see in here you actually need. So let me just pinpoint the things that I think are essential for you, and we'll go from there. Let's get started. The number one piece of equipment that you need when you are strength training or working out at home is your body. You just need body weight, all right? Especially if you are new to strength training. Being able to properly do a squat or a deadlift or an overhead press without weights is more important than starting to add the weight and doing the movements incorrectly. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have got your form and technique correct on a lot of the basic moves, and that simply means using your body weight. From there, once you know you've got the form and technique, whether you're working with a personal trainer, whether you're watching videos for that, etc., then you can start to add the extra accoutrements, right? Or the weights, the pieces of equipment that I'm going to go over today. And then that's when we start to progress our movement. So the first piece of equipment you need is just your body weight. So let's move on from there. So essential equipment number 2 is going to be dumbbells. Dumbbells are going to be the easiest and best way for you to start to progress all of the movements in your workouts. Now, as you can see here in my own personal home gym, we have a plethora of hand weights or dumbbells. We have a 2-pound weight, 5s, 10s, 15s, 20s. Now, here's the deal, 20s. What if we want to go past 20? We would have to buy separate pieces of dumbbells, right? Another pair of dumbbells to be able to progress past 20 pounds. That's great. However, if you don't have the space for that, or you don't want to keep buying dumbbells over and over again, adjustable dumbbells are the way to go. Now, I don't necessarily suggest any particular brand. The one thing that I really do like about adjustable dumbbells is if you can find one where the stand comes like this, where you don't have to get down to the ground to adjust the dumbbells, that is really important to keep you from having to bend over and over again to adjust the dumbbells and to pick them up. That's a safety thing, right? We want to keep you safe during your workouts. So whatever brand you decide to choose, make sure that it has a stand like this that's actually elevated off the ground so we can minimize the bending over and over again. The other thing that you're going to look for is you're going to look for a brand where you can adjust the weights in 2.5-pound increments at a time. There are some out there where it's only like 5 pounds at a time. 5 pounds can be a big jump when you get to a certain weight. So you want to make sure that, especially when you're starting off with strength training, you have the ability to adjust your dumbbells, the adjustable ones, 2.5 increments at a time. So those are the 2 things you're looking for. Does it have a stand that's high enough off the ground that I can adjust and not have to bend over to pick them up? And does it increase in 2.5 increments at a time? That's what you're looking for your adjustable dumbbells. Number 2 on our list, this is 3 probably, right? Let's go with 3. This is number 3 on our list of essential pieces of equipment, and that's your resistance bands. Now, resistance bands can come in a plethora of sizes, shapes, colors, and even loops versus actual tubing. So right here, we've got so many of these at home, but right now I'm just going to show you some of the loops and the tubing so you can kind of understand the difference between what you would use them for, okay? Now, one thing that is kind of universal, no matter what brand that you pick up when it comes to resistance loops and bands, is that most times the lighter the color, the lighter the resistance. Some companies will actually put on the band itself light, medium, heavy, so you kind of know as you go. But if they don't, like this particular brand does not tell you that, but I know from experience, this light green color is my lightest resistance. Then from there, we're going to go to this teal color, a little bit darker, and it's a little bit harder on the resistance. And then last but not least, I've got this gray color. Once again, that's going to be the heaviest one, the heaviest resistance there. You also have bands that, for lack of a better term, a lot of these are called booty bands because as you can see, they don't have a lot of give to them, which means they don't stretch very far. These are really good for smaller movements, especially if you're going to use them for the lower body. So if you're going to use them to strengthen your glutes, quads, hammies, inner thighs, outer thighs, things like that. These are really great because once again, you can do smaller movements with them because they don't really, as you can see, don't really have a lot of give to them. So that's another type of resistance band. Last but not least is we have tubing. So as you can see, a lot of times with tubing, they're actually going to have handles at the end. Tubing is really good when you want to get a bigger movement in. So it might be really hard for you to do an overhead press with a small resistance band, but if you've got tubing instead, you can always step on the tubing and then from here, you can use this tubing for your bicep curls, your overhead press, whatever it is that you would like to do. You can also use tubing if you have a pull-up bar installed safely in your home. You can always loop this around there and then do a lot of upper body work with that as well. So as you can see, plethora of options when it comes to resistance bands, tubing, etc. The beauty of these is, obviously, they're extremely small and extremely portable. So you can always take your workout with you. If you're somebody who works out from home, but then you go on vacation and you're wondering what you're gonna do, grab your resistance bands or your tubing and you'll be able to get an easy workout in away from your house. Next piece of essential equipment is a physio ball or a stability ball. These are amazing. Remember, one of the components that you want to be focusing on when it comes to building bone health, right, is your balance. And balance, true balance, comes from core stability. One of the best pieces of equipment that you can have in your home to improve your core stability is a physio ball. So many moves that you can do on this ball, not just for upper body and lower body. Every single movement you do on it forces your core muscles, so not just your abdominals, but your low back, your glutes, your hip flexors, etc., to keep you in an upright position, to keep you from falling off of this unstable, surface, right? So this is one of the best pieces. Now, it is one of the bigger pieces because obviously you want to keep this inflated. You don't want to have to keep blowing it up over and over again when you need it. So you do have to think about where you might want to keep this in your home, but if you can find a nice little corner somewhere that this bad boy can stay when you're not using it, this is going to be one of the essential pieces to use in your workouts to help with balance. Last but not least is we're going to come to the ground sometimes, right? It just helps us to be able to work our core, to help us work our lower body, etc. So when you come down to the ground, a lot of us are going to need that extra cushion. It's not that comfortable sometimes to be on our sit bones or on our hips for too long. So having a very, very nice floor mat is going to be essential for your workouts. Now, if you're somebody who's not going to be coming down to the ground, you may want to omit this part. But if you know you're going to be coming down to the ground for any types of workouts, making sure that you have a nice, thick floor mat is going to be essential. When you are looking for floor mats, make sure that you are looking for one that's got anywhere from 6 to 9 millimeters of thickness, okay? Anything smaller than that is going to be a yoga mat, and yoga mats are usually going to be longer, but they're going to be a little bit thinner. You want to make sure that you're actually looking for an exercise mat that's got, once again, anywhere from 6 to 9 millimeters of thickness. That's going to give you plenty of cushion for all of your floor exercises. So here's the deal. I showed you a plethora of things that I feel like are essentials for a home workout. Once again, you're in my garage with me. This is my functional trainer that me and my husband use for our workouts, and we've got a lot of accoutrements that go along with that, right? You saw this setup. We've got kettlebells. We've got all the things that go with it. We've also got extra stuff that I didn't even put in this video. This is the deal. A lot of this is just extra. It's the fancy stuff that you can get that can definitely help with your workouts, but is it absolutely needed? No. When you are just starting out, the things that I went over today, dumbbells, adjustable dumbbells, a physio ball, resistance bands, a thick floor mat, those are the essentials. Those are the things to start with. And then, if you want to progress your home gym, there are a plethora of things that you can add to that. So, I hope this video was helpful. I hope it helps you understand what you absolutely need versus the things that are kind of extra, and maybe you don't need them at all. I will see you next week for another hot topic.